Okay. So Atif sir, shall we start?
Yes, Sandeep.
Yes. Okay. Okay. So hello everyone. Good morning to all of you again. Uh, as all of you know, we are conducting uh, expert webinar series from last few weeks, and this is our third webinar. And today we have engineer Mohammad Atif Nawaz with us. Before introducing all of you with Atif sir, I would like to inform you all regarding few, I can say, few things that you need to follow during this webinar. All of you are already on mute. So if you have any doubt or any question regarding any of the topics that has been discussed, you can raise your question in the Q&A section in your screen. So if you have any question and if you are putting it in the on the chat, we will not consider it as a question. So please write your questions on the Q&A section. Okay. So after the presentation of our speaker, we'll be taking up those questions. So now I would like to introduce you all with our speaker. Uh, so we have engineer Mohammad Atif Nawaz with us today. He's an he has extensive expertise in bridge and infrastructural engineering projects, and he's well known for his contribution in helping the budding engineers and professionals in the field in terms of networking, building brands, and you can say career growth aspects. So Atif sir is already known to all of us, so I won't take much time, and I would like to invite Atif sir to start his presentation. Atif sir, over to you.
Yeah. Thank you, Sandeep. Good morning to everyone. So yeah, I'll just share my screen so that we can start.
Yes, it's visible, sir.
Yeah. So yeah, apologies for the delay.
No
So
problem. No problem at all, sir.
yeah, so we'll get started. So good morning, everyone. I welcome you all to today's webinar. Um, and Sandeep, is my screen visible? So my video, I mean.
Yes, 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 sir. Yes, sir. It's visible.
Yes. So, welcome to today's webinar. The title of this webinar is Structural Engineer's Guide to Career Growth, and we will be discussing all the aspects related to what skills do you need, how to search jobs, and networking. So all these includes as a part of career growth. So structural engineer's guide to career growth. And this presentation is a part of Design Sphere 2025, which is hosted by Sandeep. So I would like to start by thanking him to, allowing me the opportunity to speak and share my experience with all of you. Uh, so this will be our agenda today. So what and all we will be discussing. So first we will be seeing the introduction part. In the introduction part, so we're discussing why actually we are discussing about career growth. We will also discuss about networking, everything about networking, how to do, where to do, points to remember. Then we'll also see what are the skills required. So for a structural engineer to have a good career, to have a successful career, so what are the skills required, that also we'll be seeing. Also, once we understand what skills are required, we will be seeing how we can upskill ourselves. So that is also equally important. Then we'll see about jobs, how to search, where to search, and all of these things. Then we'll see a bit about interview preparation. And at the last, we will be seeing about question and answers, which you might be having. So coming to the first and foremost agenda of this session. So why are we discussing career growth? So it is very important to understand. So the moment you have seen the first slide, it said structural engineer's guide to career growth. So for a structural engineer, say to have a good career in structural engineer, to have a successful career in structural engineering domain. So how I see it, there are two parts to it. So having a good career in structural engineer domain has two parts. So the first part is obviously the technical knowledge. So the technical knowledge means you need to be good at what you do. It could be your structural design process from start to finish, all the things. You need to be aware of the designing process. You need to be aware about modeling process, construction, buildability, all of those. So having technical knowledge about the domain, structural engineering domain or the structural design domain is 50% constituent of having a good career in structural engineering. So later on, I will also define what do I mean by having good career in structural engineering. So for that, technical knowledge, being good at technical structural engineering knowledge has 50% weightage. The next 50% is industry awareness and industry requirement. So what does industry awareness mean? So industry awareness means you need to be knowing what all things are going on in our structural engineering domain. It comprises of all the aspects, not just the technical. So everything, new methods, new softwares, everything, whatever the structural engineering nuances are there. So that part is under industry awareness and requirement. So today's our session will be focusing on this part. So this part, industry awareness and requirement, it comprises of all the parts. So you need to know how, if you are searching for a job as a structural engineer, you need to know how to search, where to start. It also includes industry awareness, means it also includes what are the skills required and also how to upskill, how to continuously update your knowledge. So our entire presentation will be on this topic, industry awareness and requirement. Now, in case you're wondering why I chose like career growth as a like this second as a topic for today's discussion. So if you're wondering, just give me a slight background to this. If you want to acquire technical knowledge today, you have a lot of resources. Suppose if you want to be good at structural design, say if you want to master the entire design process, you want to know how the modeling is done in software, you want to understand how the design works. So a lot of resources are available when it comes to technical knowledge. If you want to upskill, say you want to learn about a building design, there are so many resources available. There are platforms available. There are various groups that are available where beautifully enriching structural technical knowledge, doubts and queries are discussed. So for this part, we are having a lot of resources. So from my experience of past 7 years in the industry, so I have noticed when it comes to this part of career growth as a structural engineer, there are very little guidance available. There are no groups that discuss the industry requirements. There are no platforms that discusses what are the job opportunities, not just the job opportunities, how to get them. So say, for example, you are a structural engineer, you are having any experience, say 1 year, 2 year, 3 years. If you want to go to search for a job tomorrow, say you are needing a job tomorrow, what are the skills company expects in interview, how you have to prepare, what they expect. So on this part, industry awareness, requirements, skills needed, how to upskill, how to update your knowledge, there are very minimal resources and people generally don't talk about this part. So that is the reason why I thought technical knowledge, we have so many resources. So let's today focus on this aspect. So industry requirement and awareness includes what are the skills required, everything, how to search for jobs, how to network. We'll also see why networking, I'm using it a lot, why it is important and all the things. So today's session will be morely focused on this second part, which is, career growth of a structural engineer. So first we'll start about networking. So networking is most important part of having a successful career in structural engineering. Now, you might have heard this word networking quite a lot. You might have heard it on LinkedIn. You might have heard it from your seniors, maybe your mentors, your friends. Everywhere people talk about networking. So what exactly is networking? You have to understand. So networking simply means connecting with people. So this is the simplest definition how I can put networking as. Now, connecting with people. So how to connect? This is the first thing. Then why to connect? Why to network? So we'll see. So first, how to connect with people. Now, if you ask me, there are so many ways you can connect with people. When I say people, say today we are discussing about structural engineers career growth. You connecting with structural engineers is what networking means as today's in context of today's agenda. So networking means you need to be connected with your fellow civil and structural engineers. So this is networking. Now you may ask, why do we need to connect to our structural engineering peers, structural engineering seniors, colleagues, and all of those sort? Simply because you will be doing your routine work. Say you work at somewhere 9 to 5 or whatever. You are doing daily routine your work. You are just going to office. There is some design building given to you. You are designing analysis, all of that. Connecting with people helps you to understand what's happening outside your design cubicle. So that is very, very important. So outside your design cubicle, what things are happening, you should be knowing. Say in the structural engineering domain, what people are talking about, what softwares maybe people are using, what are the advanced methods of analysis people are using. So to know all that, it is very, very important to connect with fellow civil and structural engineers. Now, so this is what networking means. Now, why to network? We have seen what is networking. We have seen why do we need networking. So uh, after discussing what is networking, so your next very question is where to build this network. So I suggest LinkedIn is the best platform to build your network. Now, your obvious question would be why I am emphasizing on LinkedIn. There could be other platforms also. So in my 7 years of corporate experience, 7 years of journey, I have not seen any platform which can come even close to LinkedIn in terms of what it can offer. In the sense, LinkedIn is having everything that is needed for a structural engineer. It is having jobs. Jobs are hosted by the HRs of the companies. It is a terrific platform to connect with your peers, friends, colleagues in structural engineering. So LinkedIn, you can use it to build your network. Now, how to build a network? So these people have a question like I get a lot of queries on like from people, how to build a network. So first thing, you should try to add your friends on LinkedIn. Friends in the sense you might have studied, say, school. You might have studied at school. You may be having school friends. You might have studied civil engineering in some college. Add your friends, search for their name on LinkedIn, add it to your network. You can also add your, if you have studied MTech, your seniors, your pass outs, your alumni, your professors. So all of these things you need to add to your network. Now, one thing you have to understand is why you are adding, why you are building network is just to know what they are sharing and what they are up to and what the industry is up to, basically. So this is like, very core of networking. So add your seniors, add people from your, colleges, alumni, etc. Also add eminent personalities from your industry on LinkedIn. Now, how do you know who are the eminent personalities? Very simple. You are in structural engineering. Maybe you have graduated bachelor's in civil. Maybe you have even did MTech in structural engineering. How to know eminent personalities in your domain? If you ask me, very simple. You might have studied, say, steel design in your bachelor's or even master's. You might have studied some reference book for steel design. One popular book for steel design is Dr. N. Subramaniam's Limit State Steel Structure Design. So search for Dr. N. Subramaniam on LinkedIn, add to him to your network. This way, what you are doing is you are keeping in touch with what Dr. N. Subramaniam, who is one of the eminent personalities from our domain, is sharing. So what he talks about. So you may be knowing he's an author, he's a practicing consultant also. So he's a very good person to add. So like this, again, what are the eminent personalities? You can add authors of books which you have studied. Dr. H. Shah, it could be, there are so many people. So you might have heard, say, some people, some engineering, say, SOM, Solving Ovens and Medal. So that company, you might have heard, say, about any structural engineering, say, Dr. Naveed Anwar. He is a prominent figure in structural engineering domain. So add your prominent people in your structural engineering domain, search for them on LinkedIn, then add to have these people in your network. So next, in the networking, very, very important thing which I want to emphasize on, when you build a network, obviously you need to reach out to people. Yes. So it's not directly that you add some people to your LinkedIn network and you forget about it. So Why you add people is you want to have some conversation, you maybe want to discuss something, you want to ask any career related doubt, you want to ask any technical doubt. So conversation etiquettes is a must to know in building a network. Now, etiquette simply means, the word etiquette means manners. So conversation etiquette means manners of communication you need to know. Now, what does manners mean? Suppose you're having your, say, dinner, you're having your food. There are some etiquettes of dining, right? So everything you are say going outside, you are meeting with your friends. There are some etiquettes. You need to be dressed properly, neatly, cleanly, all of those sort, grooming things. So for everything there is etiquettes. Similarly, when you are building a network on LinkedIn, you need to know the conversational etiquettes, because this is very, very important. So one of the biggest mistake what people do in conversation or building a network on LinkedIn is, I have attached a screenshot here. People just send a hi. So this is just, I've taken, like, my inbox is filled with such messages. They just only send hi and they wait for the other person to reply. Please understand, this is a wrong way of how you initiate a conversation with someone whom you don't know personally. Now pause for a moment and think what is wrong in this type of message initiation or conversation etiquettes. When you just send hi, you have to understand you will not get any reply on LinkedIn. Why? Because LinkedIn is a platform where people spend their time calculatively. So LinkedIn is not just other social media platform like a random, like how Instagram, Facebook is there. People randomly scroll, they see reels, they share, maybe to our friends, they text and all. LinkedIn is not like other platforms. People spend here time very consciously. They are on LinkedIn for something very specific. It could be upskilling, it could be industry awareness, it could be anything, searching for a job, it could be having a good career, to see the career growth tips and all. So when you do this, you are essentially jeopardizing your chances of getting a reply from that person. So never just send hi and wait for the person. So what I have seen, thousands of people in my 7 years of experience and in my LinkedIn network of 30,000 plus people, people just send hi and wait for the person to reply. Say suppose they send hi, other person replies hi, then they are like, how are you? Then person replies, I am fine. Then they ask about weather, how is the weather? This is not required. You have to understand LinkedIn is not like any other social media platform. This you can do on Instagram, this you can do on WhatsApp, this you can do on Facebook, etc. So if you are reaching out to someone on LinkedIn to build a network for your career, be very specific. Now, how to reach out? Instead of just hi, what you have to do is, the proper way of reaching out to someone to build a network is hi their name. Say suppose you are reaching out to me. Hi Atif, myself this and this. I'm a structural engineer. I'm from your domain. So I'm connecting you to build my network and maybe want to have some chat about it. 2 to 3 lines or 4 lines. Simple, concise. Don't be too generic here. What, suppose you need some career guidance. Say so for example, how you can mention the message template. Hi Atif, I'm a structural engineer with 2 years experience, currently working here or maybe this city. I wanted to search for a job. Can we please have a chat about it? Or maybe if you have some time, you can discuss about this. In 3 to 4 lines in a single message, you have to send out to this time. You should not first send hi, then wait for the person, then you ask how about the weather, then he stops replying. Your entire intent of reaching out to the person dies. This is a very, very wrong way to build a network. So don't just send hi. From here on, I want all the people attending this webinar also seeing this recording, maybe after, not live, for those who are not attending live and seeing the recording later. All the attendees, I request you should never just send a hi to anyone on LinkedIn. This is a wrong way. You could have any doubt, just mention that I'm looking for a career guidance, or I'm having this doubt in designing of buildings. I am having trouble in, say, designing of column. I don't know how to calculate effect length factor, whatever it is. In 3 to 4 lines, ask for their time or ask whether you can have a chat. So this is a proper way. Now, also one thing is about, whenever people reach out to LinkedIn or ask someone to network or their queries, people ask open-ended queries. What are open-ended queries? They just say they're putting this message in the group, or they're reaching out to someone in LinkedIn message. They just say, hi, like I'm having, I need some help in building design process. This is open-ended query. What is an open-ended query? You should have specific details mentioned as to where you're exactly facing the problem. If you just mention, I'm reaching out to ask you a query regarding building design process. Building design process is the long process. You're not specific about exactly where you're facing problem. So try to avoid open-ended queries. People ask me, please help me how to have a good career in structural engineering. This is a open-ended question. You should avoid asking such questions. Instead of this, what you can ask, whatever specific problem you are facing, that you can ask. For example, hi Atif, I know you speak a lot about career guidance and all. I was not sure about how to search for a job, or I was not getting any replies from the companies for my job application. So am I missing something? So this is the way you ask. Your queries should be as specific and having all the details. Avoid open-ended question. Now, suppose if you ask an open-ended question, I'm having a trouble in building design process, can you help? The person who reads this have no idea in entire building design process where you're exactly struggling, where you need help. So this is your duty to not ask open-ended queries. Yeah. So these are the conversation etiquettes you need to be understanding when you want to build a network. Now, so I told you to use LinkedIn to build your network. So I have one question for you. While you are on LinkedIn, do you too feel the same? So what is displayed in the picture? So in this picture, it is showing, say a young boy, a young person dressed in, say, corporate etiquette. So he feels alone in the network. Say this is the LinkedIn network. These people in the background are representing people. So you might have seen people talk a lot about, their challenges, which jobs they are joining, their career, milestones, their achievements they share. So you feel that, okay, what do I need to do in such, a platform? Like everyone is sharing their milestones, everyone is sharing their career achievement. Few are, discussing jobs. So you feel alone, or you feel alienated or LinkedIn. So this is one of the most common problems which I heard from people when I get queries, when I get messages. So they feel alienated on LinkedIn. Like they don't know, when they see people sharing their career milestones and so on, they get feared. Okay, the people talking on LinkedIn are some like great people. They're having very good experience. They're having very good job. So only they can talk. They are sharing so many things. So I don't know what I should do on LinkedIn. So I'm sure this many of you might have experienced at any stage of career. So one of the common queries that I get from people on LinkedIn is, I don't know what to share on LinkedIn, or I don't know how to do networking on LinkedIn, or they fear that if they share something, what other people might think, or they have this fear, if I share something, what if it is wrong? Say you share about a column design, for example, anything you can share about all your professional related experts on LinkedIn. Say you share something about column design, so people fear that if I share something about technical about my domain, what if I'm wrong? Say I wrote a post about column design, there are some mistakes in it, there is some wrong design process, so they fear this. What if somebody sees, if I post something wrong, whether they'll scold me, whether they'll tell me why you posted this on LinkedIn, they'll blast out at you. Or one more fear what people have on networking on LinkedIn or sharing anything on LinkedIn is, they fear what their company might think about them. Say, suppose, for example, I work at Atkins Realis, you may be knowing. So some people may think, if I post about something, anything, I post about, if you follow me, I post about career guidance, I post about structural engineering, I post about bridge engineering, everything. So they have this doubt that if I post, what if someone from my senior manager, say my manager, if sees me, I'm posting something about LinkedIn. So they are very skeptical. They're having all these fears in their mind. So this is what people have. So they're having a lot of doubts, they're having fear about what to post, when to post, what if there is something wrong, or what if my manager sees, he will ask me, why did you post about this on LinkedIn? So these are the fears. So for that, I just want to say this doesn't happen like this. People will not scold you anything, even if you post something wrong, as long as you are posting related to your domain. Say you're a structural engineer. If you post anything about your domain, people will not tell you, even they'll correct you. Even if you're wrong, they'll correct you in a very good way. They'll not tell you, why did you post it? Like, don't come on LinkedIn from tomorrow. It doesn't happen like that. So try to be active on LinkedIn. Even if your manager sees whatever you post, there is no problem. I am using LinkedIn from 10 plus years. I have worked in 2 to 3 different companies. So there is absolutely no worry. Feel free to share anything you like. Career related aspects, like people share cute cat videos on LinkedIn, that is something you should never do. People share memes, say something, anything which is not related to your professional career, your professional growth, you should avoid sharing that. You should not share political views on LinkedIn. Say, I am a big fan of XXX party. So LinkedIn is not a place to do that. Please understand. Avoid political sharing views on LinkedIn. Avoid sharing, say, cute videos of cats and whatever. People, why I'm sharing is, I have seen people share a lot of like random stuff. LinkedIn is not for that. Please understand. For your random personal stuff, not related to career. I'm not saying you should not have an opinion about anything. Say, suppose something is happening in society, it's bothering you, perfectly fine. There are other platforms for it. This is my only humble request. So try to post only about career related aspects on your LinkedIn. Now, if you're having this problem, say you're feeling alienated about LinkedIn, you don't know what to post, you are very skeptical about what people think, I have a good news for you. I have launched a book that is titled LinkedIn for Civil Engineers. So this book is a career growth guide for everything: job search, networking, personal branding, anything. This is available on Amazon. Like, you can just, if you search on Amazon, this is a snapshot from Amazon. If you search LinkedIn for Civil Engineers, you'll get my book. So I'm the author of this book. I have written this book based on my 7 years of experience. If in this book I shared everything, like, see, you can see the table of contents. Like, I have 7 chapters in the book, like LinkedIn etiquettes, how to build a network, how to build a personal brand. Again, you might have heard of this about a lot, like why to build a personal brand and all of those sorts. How to do job search on LinkedIn, how to upskill, how to find mentors. So something from these books also I'll be sharing in this presentation, but time is limited, so I cannot share everything. So this book you can refer. After reading this book, you will get very confident about how you can use LinkedIn, how you can leverage LinkedIn for your career growth. You can get a very good confidence if you read this book. And to give you insight, this is the only book on LinkedIn which is exclusively for civil and structural engineers. This is not some general book. On on Amazon or on Flipkart, you will find a lot of books which are general. They just talk about personal brand, they talk about how to build a network. But I talk about this building a network related to exclusive for civil and structural engineers. For example, how to build a personal brand if you are a structural engineer. So this book is exclusively for civil and structural engineers. So I request everyone, if you are interested, just go on Amazon and have a copy. So I have linked to here also. I will share this presentation after the session with everyone. So you can directly click here also, and you can anyway search on LinkedIn. So this is one book which I have written for. You can use LinkedIn for your career growth and how I have used LinkedIn. So yeah, if you are having any doubts about LinkedIn, this is one of the good resource. So, if you are not aware, so this is my LinkedIn profile. So I have around 30,000 plus, connections. And yeah, you can just, connect with me on LinkedIn. If you search for me, my name, Mohammad Atif Nawaz. So presently, I'm working at Atkins. Previously, I've also worked with Bangalore Metro, and I talk about career guidance and all the things related to career guidance. So please get connected with me. I will be happy to connect with fellow civil and structural engineers. So if you read that book, you'll get everything. You'll understand, how to build a brand. You like this. This is what building a network means. So I built 30,000 connections. How I build it, I have shared in the book. Using LinkedIn, how I got my job offers, that also I have shown in the book with proof. So this nobody does. And this book, it is not like any other book. So it is a 100 pages compact book. There is no lengthy paragraphs. So if you read this book, I have explained in bullet points. It is interactive. You will find some sketches. You will find some creative, stickers and all of those sorts. So this is not a typical novel kind of a books where you read lengthy paragraphs and all. So actionable insights I have packed in bullet points. So it is just 100 pages. Why I kept it 100 pages is I don't want you to get bored. Like people, if they have say 200, 300 pages, they don't even finish the book. So if you read this book, I'm definitely sure you will finish this book and you will apply and you'll see the results, because this book is entirely based on my 7 years of experience in the corporate. So yeah, next agenda for today is what are the skills required for corporate success. Now, if you ask to anyone, so suppose say you are a structural engineer, you ask to someone what are the skills that are required for good career growth. Corporate success means if you want to have a good career in structural engineering, so what are the skills that you should be having? So let's discuss one by one. What are the skills that can help you to have a successful career as a structural engineer? Number one is, obviously, this is a no-brainer. You need to have strong technical background. Now, what does a strong technical background means? Suppose say you are a structural engineer. You need to be aware of all the, say you're a structural engineer who designs building. So you need to be aware of entire building design process from start to finish. This is called as having a strong technical background. Now, it could be as simple as, fixing, column locations, orientation of columns. It could be as simple as, so complete design process means as soon as you get a plan from architect, from there to load calculation, modeling, analysis, design, sending drawings to site, which is called a GFC, good for construction drawing. In this entire process, you need to be very strong. Or in this sense, you need to be aware of all the things. Now, what are the things you need to be aware of in this process? Start from the very basic. Say architecture gives you a plan. You need to be aware of how to locate columns, how to orient column. Say what are the starting depths. You are proposing some beam, say a G+4 residential building. Your boss gives you to design. So you need to be aware of what are the thumb rules, what starting beam column sizes you can take, how you fix the depth of foundation, everything, how you do the modeling process, how is the design process, thumb rules, and all the modeling intricacies also. For example, if you're using software like apps, whether you want to model the slabs as shell membrane, if you model it as shell membrane, how does the design affects everything. So design process means you cannot say I'm working in my say XYZ company. I just use slab as a membrane. So you cannot say that I only know slab is designed as a assigned as a membrane in ETABS. In ETABS, there are 4 options to uh, choose slab as slab property: thick shell, thin shell, membrane, and one more thing. So you cannot say I just use membrane in my office because my boss says to use membrane. This is wrong. Strong technical background means you need to be aware of entire process, irrespective of whether you're using it in an office or not. Say your office might have some rules. Say your boss might have said, okay, we are using only membrane as a slab. They could have their reasons. So any conservative reason, whatever, they could be having their reasons. When you are working under him, under that boss, obviously you cannot deviate. If your boss says to design a slab in ETABS, taking it as a membrane, obviously you have to follow it. But you have to know what are the other options also. When is thick shell used, when is thin shell used. So all of this thought, this I just gave an example. Strong technical background means you need to be aware about all the design process. Say types of analysis, gravity analysis, how you do seismic analysis, say wind analysis. Wind also, it has static, dynamic. When do you use static analysis? When do you use dynamic analysis? What is gust factor? How to do that in ETABS or in other softwares? Seismic analysis, what is static, what is dynamic, what is scaling of base shear. All of this comes under the entire design process. You cannot say I am working from 2 years in an office and I design only say small to mid rise. That's why I have not done any dynamic seismic analysis. This you should not say. Even though for small to mid rise, dynamic analysis may not be required. You might have done only equivalent static method. But as a structural engineer, you need to be aware, okay, what are the dynamic analysis? What is the response spectrum? What is scaling of base shear? what is linear, non-linear, when I need to go about PBD, pushover, all these things you need to be aware, not just theoretical, also how to do it in software. Because at the end of the day, you're not doing manual designs, you're doing it in software. So this comes under having strong technical background. Next, what are the skills required for the corporate success? Industry grade software. Now, what does this mean? If you are a structural engineer, say who designs building, what are the softwares you need to be aware of? For say superstructure design, you use ETABS, you use StatPro, maybe Robot, maybe there are so many softwares. So you need to be aware at least the design process. Say a couple of buildings you might should have tried in all the softwares just to know the GUI, just to know the interface, just to know how modeling is slightly different, how the analysis is slightly different from one software to another. So you have to know all the industry grade software. So one thing I want to emphasize here on this part on industry grade software. Say you are designing a steel structure, you are using StatPro. Obviously, StatPro is a very popular software. Now, StatPro can only do the steel. It will give you utilization ratio, it will give you tension, compression, whatever. So pending what is the capacity, how much is the utilization in each member, it gives. But the limitation of StatPro is it cannot design the connections. So this is very, very important. For connection design also, you cannot say that I just use StatPro for my member capacities or element or just for analysis of the superstructure. And connection design, I don't know which software is used. So you need to be aware industry grade, what industry is using for connection design. Say Idea Statica, you might have heard, it is a very, very popular tool, software tool to design the connections. Why it is popular is Idea Statica has so many templates. You can design any connection which is even very complex. So there are so many members connecting, say different types of end plate connections are there, beam column connections are there, simply supported shear moment connections. So Idea Statica is a industry grade software which you should be knowing. You cannot say that connection design I don't know how to do, in which software to do, and like I know only StatPro. Again, Bentley RAM is again one of the other software which is used for connection design. So you need to be aware about industry grade softwares which are used. Second, third thing, what are the skills? Industry awareness. Now, industry awareness means what? Suppose say you are designing a multi-story building. Your boss tells you take SBC as 200 kilonewton per square meter and design the foundation. Now, what you do in the software in ETABS StatPro, you fix the base of foundation. Now, take a moment and think. Industry awareness means what? Your boss gave you a SBC value. You're directly using it to design your foundation. Whether that is the right approach or no. So this industry awareness means soil, whether you want to model exact soil behavior under your building or under your say column base of the column, or you want to use a conservative approach which is called as SBC. Say 200 kilonewton per meter square SBC, you assume that soil will behave like that and soil will have a 200 kilonewton per square meter this thing capacity. So that is a conservative approach. So soil structure interaction is something called as a big part, not a big part, like one of the part of industrial awareness. You should know what is soil structure interaction. Soil structure interaction means you're exactly modeling soil below your base of the foundation so as to eliminate any kind of uncertainties. Like when you use say 200 kilonewton SBC, there are some uncertainties like some water table is there, your SBC can even get reduced to half. You might have read about factors affecting soil bearing capacity. So water table and all. So that experiences a lot. So soil structure interaction is industry awareness. You should be knowing that, okay, my boss is saying just design the foundation, take 200 kilonewton per meter square, but from where that 200 kilonewton per square meter comes, whether it is appropriate, whether it is conservative, whether it is exact, this is called as industry awareness. So you should have this as an industry awareness. Also, say suppose you're modeling a pile, you're designing a pile manually in any software. You need spring stiffness, both lateral and horizontal spring stiffness for the soil. How do you calculate? So this is again as part of industry awareness. You should know. You cannot say I design, considering fix as my foundation. That is also okay. That's a conservative approach. Say exact soil spring calculation of those. So everything that comes a part of industry awareness. When you are a structural engineer building, you need to be aware of all these things. Next, interpersonal skills. Very, very important for all the structural engineers, no matter whether you're fresher No matter whether you have 5 years experience or 10 years experience, interpersonal skills are very, very important. Now, what does interpersonal skills? Some 2 to 3 very important skills I just will highlight here. First is communication. Under interpersonal skills, what essential skills which you want to have to grow in your career is interpersonal skills. Communication is one of the biggest factor. Communication means what? Whenever you want to put your thoughts, when you want to convey your thoughts from you to your anything, your manager, your entire company, outside company to clients. So you need a way to communicate. How you communicate is very, very important. And this interpersonal skills as skills required for corporate success is something which a lot of structural engineers neglect. They just focus on this part. Like they're very good at knowing all the industry grade software. They know all the advanced analysis software. They know robot, they know even midas, everything. They may be knowing high end softwares. They are good at basics, but they lack interpersonal skills. This is my experience, this is my notice. So you need to be very good at communication. Communication, there are again two parts: oral, that is verbal communication; written communication. Verbal communication means what? You need to be able to speak in a clear, concise manner to your boss, to your other teams, to your clients, anyone. So it is very, very important. You use proper, sentences, and whatever you speak, have necessary pauses. Make sure the other person is understanding your whatever you are putting your thoughts across in a meeting, to your boss, explaining design to your friends, anything. So you need to be very sure that whatever you are explaining, the other person is understanding. That is the essence of communication. Other part of communication, written communication. This a lot of people again neglect. Written communication means, say, suppose you want to write an email to your boss or to your client or to your, say, collaboration within teams. How you write an email, a lot of people are not aware. There are email etiquettes also. What tone you have to use, whether in oral communication or written communication, you should know. Like, for example, what is a professional tone? Suppose you want to ask your boss some help. You cannot just say, hey, I need this help. No, this is wrong. The word hey itself is wrong. You cannot use the word hey when you are communicating professionally to your boss or this thing. So all these things you should know. What are the tone I need to use? What language I need to use? Whether, the other person is able to understand or not. So interpersonal skills are very, very, important part. And again, so interpersonal skills, so communication comes, collaboration is again one of the other very good interpersonal skills which you must have in order to have a good career. What does collaboration means? Suppose, for example, I work at Atkins in a structures team. Atkins have 10 to 15 different departments. I work in structures. Atkins also has a geotechnical department. Atkins also has a BIM department. Atkins also has a highway department. Atkins also has alignment department. 10 to 15 departments are there. Collaboration means, for my design, suppose one building or one township, some came to me. I need soil data to design my building or structure, whatever this. To get this soil data, I need to collaborate with geotechnical team. Collaboration means what? You need to be making very sure that what inputs you want from geotechnical team, how you will ask them. Suppose you want to ask SBC values, say, for example, or spring stiffness values from geotechnical aspect. How to write a mail and ask is very important. Collaboration means you need to be able to know how to work with different teams and different people. Similarly, apart from geotech, you need, suppose there is a one township, or say, suppose there is a tower, say 25 stories, 30 stories. There will be so many departments: MEP, structures, BIM, architectural. So collaboration means you need to know, okay, what inputs do I need from MEP people, or whether anything from structural design output, what I give, whether it affects to them also. So all these comes under collaboration. Interpersonal skills is one of the most important part. Again, CPD. CPD means continuous professional development. CPD means you are, say, suppose you are doing you are a structural engineer. In your office, you are designing a multi-story buildings. Like, your boss only gives you multi-story building design. Suppose you want to switch your job tomorrow. You say you are doing a job switch after some 2 years or 3 years. In an interview, suddenly interviewer asks you steel design, questions on steel designs. Now you cannot say I did from 2 years only multi-story RCC building design and I don't know steel design. You cannot say this. Why? Because if you are a structural engineer, you are expected to know even whether it is RCC, whether it is steel, whether it is composite, anything. You cannot say, I do not know that just because I'm not working on it. So CPD means apart from your work, you should also know other design. It could be other types of analysis. It could be other types of software. It could be other types of structures altogether. So CPD means you have to be continuously upskilling yourself. You have to do the continuous professional development. Next, confidence. This is one of the most important part. If I want something from this entire presentation for you to take away is confidence. How to get confidence? It is one of the most important skill. In one of the interviews 7 years back, my first interview, I was asked this question by my interviewer. The interviewer told me, can you design a slab above your head for me? This was the interview question. The moment I heard the question, I got panicked, I got nervous. He didn't give any details, no data. He didn't give me the slab thickness. He didn't give me anything like this thing. He just told me, can you design a slab above your head? We were sitting in an interview room. He just told me, can you design a slab above your head for me? Obviously, 7 years back, it was my first interview. I was very nervous, like because in the engineering, what we are accustomed where we were having all the data, right? For designing a slab, we were given, like suppose RCC structural elements, the subject, we have studied books, we were given all the data. We were given the depth of the slab, we were given all the nodes, we were given the spans of the slab. Okay, so we will be in a condition that entire thing is spoon fed to us in terms of input data. So we are in that mindset as a student. So when an interviewer asked me, I was very confused. Oh, he didn't give me any data. How do I do? So that time I could not answer this. Obviously, when I was a student 7 years back, this is the 2018 story. Why I'm sharing this to you is confidence, how to get is very, very important. Now, if you slightly pause, there may be many students who are, listening to this presentation, this webinar. For a slab, if your interviewer asks you, can you design a slab for me? Don't panic. Don't think that he has not given me any data. How will I design? Take a pause. Think, what data do you need for slab design? You need, say, loads. You need span, obviously. You need to know whether it's one way, two way, and maybe end conditions. So this is what you need, right? For slab. Anything other than, you know how to calculate moment, you know how to calculate moment of resistance, you know spacings and all criteria. So loads. If your interviewer has not given you loads, can you calculate loads by yourself? Obviously, yes. What are the loads acting on a slab? Dead load, live load. Other than this, there is no loads. How to calculate dead load? Very simple. You know the material, say it is RCC, 25 into D is your dead load. So again, D, how you decide whether you can take any random depth of slab? I'll take 500 mm depth of slab and you can design. No, depth of slab is not random. IS 456 has given you L by D ratios. Based on that, you decide whether it's simply supported and continuous. So depth you get from there. Dead load you can calculate like this. How do you calculate live load? Do you want interviewer to give you live load? No. You can assume IS 875 part 3 is there. You can assume 2 kilonewton per square meter. You can assume a residential building. Very fine. Like commercial building, assume 5 kilonewton per meter square live load. So this is your confidence will be tested. If you are a structural engineer, at every point of time, your confidence will be tested. So again, span you need to design. Can't you just see above your head and by visual observation cannot we, make out approximate, say 4 meter by 3 meter is the dimension. Write it down. So the assumed dimension of slab above my head, say 4 meter into 5 meter. Again, you got the span by visual examination. You can decide by L by bilateral ratio whether it's one way or two way. If you are unsure, if you feel it is two way, you don't know what are the boundary condition. I'm assuming a continuous slab. Interviewer will test this. They will not give you all the data. They will just test your confidence. So whenever you are facing such situation, take a pause, just break down the problem, what you are expected to answer. Don't panic. Now, how I panic, just my interviewer said, can you design a slab over me? I thought, okay, what I'll do, no data. So take a moment whenever you are feeling stuck, whenever you're feeling confused, pause, reflect. Okay, this is what is asked to me, what I can do. So confidence is essential and the most important skill for your corporate success. And this is how you can get the confidence. If you ask me, confidence is got from two things: technical knowledge, industry awareness. So if you are covering these two things, your confidence will automatically rise. So next thing, upskilling. So we saw about what are the skills required for a structural engineer career growth. Now we need to know how to upskill. Suppose I gave one example. From 2 years, you are doing RCC buildings. You want to learn steel design, but you don't know how to learn. This again a query I get from a lot of my LinkedIn network, on Quora, on Telegram, on Facebook. I'm having so many groups. This is one of the most important question. I'm doing multi-story RCC building design. I want to learn steel design. How to learn? So you should be know before seeing how to learn. We'll first see why upskilling is important. So as you know, our industry is changing at a rapid pace. What does it mean? Rapid pace means, say, suppose there are so many developments, modern methods have come, modern analysis methods have come, advanced tools have come. So our industry is changing at a rapid pace. So to keep abreast or to keep up with the pace of the industry, you need to be upskilling continuously. Then to stay relevant. So I give that example. You are doing only Stat Pro. You don't know connection design, how to do it in Idea Statica. You don't know moment connection, shear connection. So all of these things you cannot say you do not know. So to stay relevant, if you know all the things that are happening in the industry, you will be relevant to the industry. So to stay relevant, you need to continuously upskill. Next, you don't want to be doing the same thing, right? That example I gave. I have seen so many people, they are doing the same work for 2 years, 3 years in same job. So if you want to learn something new, obviously you have to upskill. Now, how to upskill? So one of the best methods which I suggest is, there are so many professional bodies like ISTRUCT, IIB, IRC, etc. So I'll give you an example. So few people in this webinar may be knowing the background. I was earlier in building design. From building design, I shifted to bridge design. Now, when I attended bridge design interview, I didn't even design a single bridge. Then how did I become a bridge engineer? So in that, ISTRUCT was my first step in upskilling. Upskilling means I was in building design. I didn't knew bridge design. I learned bridge design and I shifted my career from building design to bridge design. So if you are, I was a member of ISTRUCT. So how did I learn? There was one pre-stressed beam, pre-stressed bridge that came as a part of my first job as a bridge engineer. Before that, I was only designing buildings. I haven't designed a single bridge. Now, a pre-stressed concrete bridge, how did I upskill? So I was a member of ISTRUCT. ISTRUCT regularly, they conduct events, they conduct webinars. They are having so many documents, like they publish almost like so many technical documents. So they had kept one this thing. What is that? So many sessions and then they had published one document which is exclusively for members. Like it is not open to source everything. So they encourage you to be a member so that they can help you upskill. So I learned pre-stressed concrete bridge design from ISTRUCT. Like they were having sessions, they were having some documents, they were having some worked examples which are exclusive to members. So if you are connected with such organizations, if you are connected with such professional bodies, you can upskill. So this is very good. Similarly, IIB. So IIB was instrumental in my career shift from building design to bridge design. I didn't knew a single thing about bridge design. How did I learn? IIBE had conducted a 30-hour design of bridges event. It was an online event. It ran for 1 month. So in that 1 month, I heard renowned bridge engineers from across India. So I heard them speak. I heard them like how to design bridges. They were having 20 years, 30 years of experience. So with that experience, when I heard them, I got interested. Oh, bridge designing is so fascinating. So IIB, that event was pivotal turning point of my career shift from building design to bridge design. Similarly, there are other bodies, IC, IRC. How to upskill is just get connected with such bodies. They do a lot of events. They do events for members. They publish so many work examples, everything which you need. So also how to upskill, if you follow the right people on LinkedIn. So there are so many people share good content. So that is also one of the other way. So if you want to upskill again, this is some of the snapshots from my book, which I showed you, LinkedIn for Civil Engineers. In that book, I have even shown examples of how upskilling can be done on LinkedIn. So I told you, if you follow the right kind of people, you see this person is sharing a practical example of how pinned connection is given in site. So obviously, when you read from the books, that visualization is missing, right? So on LinkedIn, such things are shared. Just you need to follow the right people. And again, if you see on the right hand, academic study versus actual. So how a beam behaves like a simply supported, how a beam behaves at a fixed inside. Even though we study the design of continuous beams in our books, design of fixed beams in our book, but you have to understand inside how a fixed beam is done, how it is made. So such things people share on LinkedIn if you are connected to right people. So again, these snapshots are from my book. That book is everything you need, even upskilling also. So you can find many such examples from that book also. So this is again upskilling, how you can do. So um, uh, job search is again one of the agenda in today's talk, how to do job search. So uh, I will cover some 2 to 3 points here. I'll first cover understanding ecosystem. I'll cover what is your competition. For example, if you're searching for a job tomorrow, say along with you, how many people apply for a structural engineer in the same company? So you need to be aware. Why you need to be aware about your competition? If you're aware about your competition, you can make a plan how you can stand out. If you don't know the competition itself, how you will make sure that you are different from others? So this I'll cover. Interview preparation I will touch upon. I'll just touch upon why it is a very bad idea, to apply for all the jobs that you see. So first thing, understanding recruitment ecosystem. So this part I want the utmost importance, for your utmost importance to this part, because this is very, very important. So ecosystem, recruitment ecosystem or hiring, you have to understand not all jobs are advertised online. What does it mean? Suppose a company needs structural engineers. You maybe think that, okay, a company is needing structural engineers, they will advertise online. They'll put it on their website, career section, or they'll put it on LinkedIn or Shine, Naukri, whatever. So you feel this, but not all jobs are advertised online. This is from my 7 years of experience. Now, why do I say it? You have to understand recruitment. When a company hires, hiring takes three things. There are efforts involved, hiring costs money to the company, hiring costs time. For example, if a company wants to hire a structural engineer tomorrow, it may take 1 to 3 months to hire. So time. Cost means recruiting is not free for company. If the company wants to, if a company is recruiting, they have to spend money, they have to spend resources, HRs and all the processes there. So it takes money, time and effort. So to save all these, many a times companies will not even advertise online that they're needing structural engineers. So this I want you to understand. Next, then how the companies hire. So if a company is needing a structural engineers, they advertise on their career website or on the say LinkedIn. But before advertising here, company will first check with the internal referrals. What does internal referral means? Suppose you are working at any, say you are working at XYZ company. XYZ company, when they are needing structural engineers, of course they'll put a job. They'll put it on their website, and they'll put it on LinkedIn. Also, they'll first ask the existing employees, the structural department, they'll first ask to their team leads or the senior engineers, they'll first ask whether you're having certain candidates in your knowledge whom can be a good fit to our company. So these are called as internal referrals. So it is very important to understand job advertising online is only 50%. They will also ask for internal reference before hiring. Again, to get the internal reference, time is running out. So I'll just try to cover as many things as possible. And I'll share the presentation also, which you can definitely refer. So referrals are also a big system. Company before advertising online also asks to the internal employees. Now, awareness about the competition. Now, if I ask you, do you know how many applications are received for an advertised post? For example, uh, if a company is hiring for 5 structural engineer post, say 5 structural engineer post. So do you know how much is the competition? This is a live example from one of the MNC. For 5 structural engineer post, 1,000 applications were received. Now just imagine if in 1,000 applications, if you to apply, what are the chances that your application is even seen and opened by the company? What are the chances? Just guess. So you have to know this. You have to know when you are applying for a job, you're not alone applying for a job. This is a live example in one of the MNC for 5 structural engineering posts, 1,000 applications were received. So this is the competition. Unless you're aware about the competition, you cannot make a strategy. So we'll even see if the time permits what is the strategy and all. So awareness is very, very important. Next, interview preparation. Again, there are many myths which are surrounding interviews. People feel that interviewers knowingly they ask you difficult questions, knowingly they ask you questions just to to let you know that you don't know anything. That is completely false. It is a myth. Companies want you to do well. You are, and also please remember, you are not expected to answer all the questions rightly. I have attended so many interviews. I didn't answer all the 100% of the questions correctly. I got even many questions wrong. So you're not expected to get all the answers rightly. So please understand this. Next, one of the biggest mistake what people do is they just think that interview preparation will happen 2 days before the interview. I'll tell you what happens. This even I was, a culprit earlier in my years. Even I did the same mistake. We apply for a job. We receive an email, say your interview is scheduled 2 or 3 days from tomorrow. Say today is 13th April. You get an email that your interview is on 15th April or 16th April, assume. What we do is we just prepare from 13th April to 15th April, 2 days. We start preparing for interviews 2 days. What you have to understand is this is one of the biggest mistake. Interview preparation cannot happen in 2 days. So you have to prepare interview well in advance. In these 2 days, you have to just brush things up. So you have to not entirely prepare in these 2 days. So this is what is one of the most important things which you have to remember. Again, interview preparation, there are two parts, technical, non-technical. Technical means, obviously, if you are a structural engineer, say less than 5 years of experience, bending moment and shear force, something which will be asked in all the interviews, no matter whether it's an MNC, no matter whether it's a small consultant, Indian company or not. So BMD, SFD, you need to be very good at, you should be practicing, you need to be understanding the behavior part. Again, design of structural elements. In any interview, company might ask you, design a footing, like they'll give you a data, say they'll give you a load, they'll give you SBC, and they'll ask you to design. So again, whenever companies ask you design of structural elements, please understand that you should not do everything in detail. Like they'll give you a very stipulated time. For example, what you have to understand is if you are given a design of footing, what are the important steps in design of footing? If an interviewer asks me to design a footing, you have to not write down all the things and solve 2 pages. No. Design of footing, for example, say it has 4 important steps. First step, finding area of footing. How do you find? You have SBC, you have load. Second step, checking the base pressure, P max, P minimum, M by A plus M by Z, P by A plus M by Z, P by A minus M by Z. Third step, finding finding the depth of the footing from one-way shear, two-way shear. Fourth step, AST. You check all the minimum and you calculate. So like this, you have to, whenever you are asked in an interview, design a footing, design a column, you have to not write down detail. You have to solve 2 pages. No, you have to solve it clear, concise, right? Like this, step 1, this, step 2, this, step 3, step 4. So and also, please remember, companies don't expect you to remember all the formulas. Even if you don't remember formulas, you are able to design. It is still perfectly fine. Next, very important part in interviews, describing your work experience. So 50 to 60% of your interviewer is depending on this, how you describe your work experience. For example, interviewer will ask you, okay, tell me like your professional experience. So what are all structures you have designed, and yeah, what are the projects you worked on? You will say, yeah, I have worked in multi-story building designs, RCC structures, 4 to 5 stories, and I did this. You will say you did a static wind analysis and equivalent static earthquake analysis. Now, the very next question your interviewer will ask, what was the framing type? So you have to be prepared for all this. So this is what describing your experience means. Now, if you say RCC residential building, your interviewer asks, what was the framing type? You will say beam and column. Your interviewer next will ask you, why didn't you use shear wall? So you have to know this. You cannot say I didn't provide shear wall in any of the buildings. No, that is a wrong answer. So then again, he'll ask you, how did you do earthquake analysis? You will say, yeah, it was in zone 2 and I did static analysis. they might ask you so many things about earthquake analysis. They might ask you what is the response reduction factor for our building, what was the response reduction factor. They might ask you what is response spectrum analysis, what is base shear scaling, everything. So if you talk one sentence about your work experience, all the questions will be based on that. It will be connected to one another. You said residential buildings, then they will say, okay, for composite structures, how does the design vary? You should know that in composite structure, there is shear stress, there is interface shear, all these things you should be knowing. So describing your experience is very, very important. Whatever you talk, expect all the questions. So you use, so I used R equal to 2 for my building. It was a OMRF. Now they'll ask you why 2, why R equal to 3? Or they might ask you from R equal to 2 to R equal to 3. What is the difference? So all this you have to understand. They'll ask you, okay, you did the static earthquake analysis you are telling. How did you calculate time period? So whether you ask software to calculate it automatically or did you input provided? So all this you have to understand. It is very, very important part of the work experience. Then many people only focus on, technical part. Non-technical interview preparation is most important part. And I feel personally 80 to 90% of the engineers are having zero to no knowledge about non-technical interview preparation. What does non-technical interview preparation? HR questions. Whenever you start in an interview, what is the first question that is asked? Tell me about yourself. Now, people will say so many random things which will hamper their interview results. You should, when I speak to people, when I ask them, okay, if an interviewer asks you, tell me about you, so what will you tell? So they start telling that, okay, I'm from say Bangalore, I'm from Bangalore city, I'm having 6 members in my family. So your personal information is of no required for the interviewer. Company doesn't want to know about your personal stuff. They want to know about your professional stuff. Obviously, you applied for a job. You should not share personal information. So tell me about yourself. How to answer? 4 to 5 sentences. I'll give you a sample how I answer. First, hi, I am Atif Nawaz. I'm a structural engineer with 7 years of experience. In third sentence, my main expertise in structural design of buildings and bridges. I'm having, like, you can say, or city also you can mention. I come from the Bangalore city, and you can also mention I have previously worked in these companies. So only these 4 sentences, and maybe one additional. Okay, I'm aware of these many softwares, like I'm aware of working in STAT, ETABS, and all this. So no personal information. Please understand this question. Tell me about yourself. Will have, because this is very first question when you start an interview. Very first question is tell me about yourself. You should not talk randomly. Prepare well in advance and speak. Again, what are the other questions? Why should we hire you? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? So for all these, I'll share the presentation. You can see I have linked my my videos link here. So if you click there on my YouTube channel, I have already shared, how to answer this question. So if you directly click on this link, you will be taken to my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is Career with Atif. You can search even after this thing. And all these things I've already covered. So since we are, running short of time, so that's I'm taking slightly fast. So we'll also be taking the questions. Again, salary negotiation is very, very important. You should know what salary should to ask as per your skills and as per industry requirements. Both the things are equally important. You need to know, okay, this is my skill set. This much salary is at least minimum for me. You should know this. So many people are not having idea about this. Again, you should know. Suppose you're having 3 years experience. You should know for 3 years of experience, what is the industry offering? So this is very, very important. You should know all this. Again, notice period. So you might be knowing if all the companies want early joining. So when the HR says, when can you join? You say 3 months. HR will say, no, we are looking for someone to immediately join. So how to handle this? You have to know this. Being a structural engineer, if you want a successful career in structural engineers, technical aspect is 50%. You should know all the technical structural engineering. Next 50% is all this. You should know, okay, I'm how can I reduce my notice period? If you ask me, how will I do? I'll directly talk to my boss. I'll say, see, this depends on how your relationship with your boss also is. So I'll directly talk to my company. I'll say that please reduce my notice period from 3 months to maybe 2 months, or I may be having some leaves and all. So I'll put that and I'll get relieved early, or somewhere There are so many ways. So all these you should know. How you can know? Only when you are having awareness about it. So companies will be wanting you to join as early as possible. So this, you need to how to handle the notice period. So for all these interview preparation, so I have made a course. So the course title is Structural Engineer Interview Preparation. So you can see this course is rated 4.7 out of 5 by students. And yeah, you can enroll this thing. This course is presently available on Udemy. If you directly click here, you can enroll. You can see 110 students have already enrolled. Yeah, and the review is very, very good for this particular course. In this course, so there are 8 modules. I have covered everything, even if you want to work in an MNC. So you can see here, realize your dream of working in an MNC. So people are not aware for MNC what things are required. So in detail, this course I have covered 8 modules are there. So first I'll cover introduction. I have covered interview mindset. I have covered stages in interview. So when company will cover walk-in, when company will cover will take your written test, when there will be detailed personal interview. So everything I have covered in detail. So detailed personal interview, what questions they will ask, in walk-in, what questions they will ask. I have covered everything here. I have covered even what are the resources to prepare for interview. I have covered what companies expect from you and how to grow as a structural engineer. So everything I have covered in the course. Time here is limited. I cannot cover everything. So interested people can also check out my course. This is available on Udemy. Also, I have my community. So this is a Telegram groups. You can also search the name Jobs and Career Guidance for Civil and Structural Engineers. So this is my group on Telegram. You can join it free of cost. So here I share industry insights. So I'll tell you what is different about this group. So this group is very different from other groups. So in this group, I will not just share you jobs. I will share how to get those jobs. See, jobs you can get anywhere. Naukri.com also you can get information about jobs. You can get information about jobs like structural engineer vacancies on LinkedIn also, on Shine also, on Indeed also. What I teach here free of cost is how to get those jobs and how to upskill everything, job searching techniques. So currently there are, I think, 150 members here. So you can join. This is free of cost. Link directly. You can click here. I'll share the presentation. You will take onto my group, or you can just search this name. This picture will appear. So that will be my group, Jobs and Career Guidance. You can also join that. And also, I'm sure that you are having a lot of queries. Like, though I have exceeded more than 1 hour, I understand your time is also important. I cannot cover everything, all these. So you may be having so many questions. Like, I have applied to 100 companies. I don't even receive a reply from companies. So for all these, I take one-on-one career guidance sessions from my 7 years of experience on TopMate. So I cover these. I cover any specific career guidance query you are having. So everyone will be having different problems. For some problems will be they're having sufficient experience, but they're not getting replies to their emails. For some, the problem is they don't know how to prepare for interview. For some structural engineers, they do. The problem is they are low on confidence. So everyone's problem is different. That is why I take one-on-one career guidance calls on TopMate. Anything if you have, I'll be happy to help. You need to register. Just go to TopMate, or you can even click on this link. I'll be sharing. I might have linked few of these things here. I do even the resume review sessions. So resume is something people make a lot of silly things. They put so many personal information. They put like, right, at the last resume, they write personal information. They write father's name, mother's name, languages known. All those things are not required. Silly mistakes. They write the declaration statement. All the information mentioned is true to my knowledge. It is not required. Starting the resume, they have this objective statement: working in a challenging atmosphere to blah blah. That is bogus. People have that in their resume because they've just copied it from their resume. Tell me something. If you are a structural engineer, can't you write one single page entirely out of your own? Is it that difficult? We just copy resumes from our friend. We just modify name. We just modify experience. So this is a very graving part, right? I mean, you have to understand this. If you're not able to write a single page on entire your own, that is resume, you're just copying, pasting, and you want a good job and you want a successful career. So it cannot happen like this. So write your resume on your own. Don't copy from others, because everyone same, like objective statement, looking for a challenging. It is bogus. It is vague. It is not needed. So I cover this also in one-on-one calls. As per industry requirements, how industry wants your resume. I even conduct mock interviews for 1 hour. You will share your, resume with me, seeing on your resume live. So all these sessions are live, no recorded sessions. I'll conduct your mock interview. I'll ask your questions. I'll gauge your knowledge level. I'll gauge your interview preparation level. I give detailed feedback on like where you can improve. So everything is there. You can register for such sessions also. And in case you're wondering why I'm helping other civil engineers, and this is not only from one-on-one sessions. From past 7 years, I'm writing on LinkedIn. So if you go to my LinkedIn profile, free of cost, you can get anything. Just type my name, Mohammad Atif Nawaz, on Google. You will find so many. I've written 50 plus articles. I've written blogs. I've written LinkedIn post, everything. So if you are thinking, okay, why am I helping civil engineers, structural engineers, bridge engineers via career guidance, is this is one of the review which is given by Aditya. So Aditya was a assistant bridge engineer. He was having 6 years of experience. So he said me, in CS IT industry there are so many mentors. Like if you want to work in CS industry, it is totally different, right? So there are so many mentors to guide. But in civil engineering, this is the review given by him. There are very less people who are doing career guidance. So whenever I receive such reviews, so this motivates me. Okay, I my only intention is to help as many as people the mistakes I made during the start of my career. So you can avoid that and you can get ahead 3 years, 4 years directly in your career journey. So this is the reason why I do career guidance. This is the reason why I do that one-on-one top net sessions. So yeah, thank you. So this was this thing. I understand. So last part I have slightly rushed a little bit because we have exceeded more than 1 hour. So thank you for your patience. And thank you for Sandeep, to inviting me, to, giving me opportunity to share like what I know. And you can, the links are available. You can visit my Instagram handles. Civil Insights by Atif, Career with Atif is the YouTube channel name. So yeah, you can just visit, and there are so many resources available, and that you can refer. So yeah, thank you for listening patiently. And yeah, so I would like to hand over this to Sandeep now.
Thank you, Atif sir, for this insightful session. Obviously, this kind of session we hardly see. Most of the lectures we see on the different platforms are on technical, but this kind of you can say career growth sessions. I mean, how to grow our you can say network, develop our career. So these sessions are very rare nowadays. So thank you so much. So now we'll be taking the questions. We have some questions in the Q&A section. Uh, okay, so the first question is from Mr. Masood. Any body or organization to learn building design? Atif sir, would you like to?
Yeah, body, I'm not sure by body or organization what he meant. Like, could you maybe you have any idea
No, I
what
think
he
I
meant
think
by?
he's asking about like you have mentioned ISTRUCT and IIB.
Okay, bodies.
So this
Yeah.
kind of organization. Yeah,
Yeah,
yes.
so I mentioned four bodies, right? If you join all four, I think you don't need anything. So there is ISTRUCT. ISTRUCT is Indian Institute of Structural Engineers. If you want to learn bridge engineering, the body is IIB, Indian Institute of Bridge Engineers. There is also a body called as IRC, Indian Road Congress. So this is again very important. Many people are not aware about IRC also. Even they conduct sessions, they have their documents, work examples. So again, very good to learn. So IC is also another organization, Institution of Civil Engineers. So there are associations like this. So yeah, and also apart from this, there is also called as SEFI, SEFI, that is called as Structural Engineering Forum of India. Even this is very helpful. I have taken a lot of help from this. So these are the platforms where you can learn about all the things.
Yeah, I also would like to add, like we also have IEI, the Institution of Engineers India.
Yes.
So they also conduct such many sessions on different topics. So you can learn from them. Okay. So the next question we have from Mr. Amir. What should a second year BTech civil engineering student do to have a job in the end of fourth year? Guide for internships also.
Very good. So I would like to first congratulate him. Very good question. The reason why I'm happy and why I was smiling reading this question is I feel very happy when students in their second year are thinking about job. So this is very, very important. We didn't had this awareness even after completing my engineering. I had zero clue. I didn't know
Hmm.
how to search for a job. I didn't know anything. So I'm very happy. So if you are a second year structural engineering, first I would like to concentrate. I would like to request you to concentrate on few things. One thing is first you should know after you graduate in what all jobs you can get. For example, in civil engineering, there are so many jobs. You can get a jobs as estimator, you can get a jobs as BOQ, you can get a job as structural engineer, you can get a jobs as estimation, contracts management. So first request would be you please go through what are the different job profiles that are available. If you ask me, I have written an article on LinkedIn. So just message me or from LinkedIn, WhatsApp, anywhere. I'll send you this thing. So there are so many different things. Project management is there, 3D modeling is there, BIM is there. So first thing is know about what are different job profiles. Once you know, then see, okay, what you like. Suppose say you like structural designing, you like designing of buildings. So you have to see for structural designing, what should be my career plan. If you ask me, if you are interested in structural design, there is a subject called as design of structural elements in your fifth sem. So you have to focus a lot on that. That is a very, very important chapter. Steel design also will be taught. So focus on those chapters. So first get yourself after you go for a job in which job profile you want. Based on that, you have to decide, okay, if you want to become a BOQ engineer, what skills are required. You can anyway get in touch with me. I can for each of these things, I'll send you the article link also and I can even tell the what are the softwares required also for getting a job.
Thank you. So we'll be taking one more question, and I'm taking it from chat, though we am not supposed to take the questions from chat, but this is very interesting actually. Could you please guide us on which professional certifications or licensing exams like professional engineers, P, FE, or other are most valuable for structural engineers, both in India and abroad?
Yeah. So again, very good questions. So when people are asking these questions, it simply means that they are interested in career growth. So this is the very intention of this webinar. So India and abroad. So what one thing we have to understand is in India, yeah, there is ISRT as I said, they are having a chartered membership. Recently, a year ago, they started. So if you are looking for a competent authority in India, like based on India design, so ISRT chartered, they have some exam, they have some process. If you clear that, you are given a chartered engineer title from ISRT. Now, compared to abroad, you have to understand that in abroad, there are region specific professional qualifications. For example, there is something called as ICE, Institution of Civil Engineers. There is something called as IA-STRUCT. Both are similar in terms of these things. They are having professional qualification different level. Good thing is, even if you are a student, you can become a student member in both ICE and IA-STRUCT. If you are, say, having 3 years, 4 years experience, there is IENG, Incorporated Engineer in ICE. So that if you're having 10 plus experience, you can get the chartered membership from ICE and iStructy also. So they're having a process and all. So you can visit their website and these are highly valued. So ICE is something which is almost worldwide. It is seen like that as a professional qualification. Means if you have got the say chartered engineer from ICE, you will be seen as a person who is good in technicals. Same goes for iStructy also. It is very reputed. One which you mentioned, PE also. Again, there is very highly valued. One thing, just an add-on is you have to understand there are so many different institutes. If you are a project engineer, so Project Management Institute offers a membership qualification that is called as PMP. So you might have seen so many people write PMP after their name in LinkedIn. So that is for project managers is very useful. So decide that if you're a project manager, maybe you may be wanting a professional qualifications as PMP. If you're a structural engineers, ICE, iStructE, IAStructE will help. So these are reputed and renowned bodies from where you can get qualifications.
Okay, so thank you, Atif sir. So already we are out of time,
Yes.
so we are not taking any questions today. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you everyone who have joined this webinar. And in this early morning webinars are very, I mean, we expect, though we expect more, you can say, attendees, but obviously on a Sunday when when we say the webinar is on 10 o'clock, it's very difficult to get people, but still we have good number of people joined. So thank you so much everyone, and thank you Atif sir for this insightful session.
Yeah.
So we'll
Thank
be
you,
closing
Sandeep.
our session. Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Sandeep. And since we not covered everything, if you are having any doubts, please reach out to me. You can reach out to me if you're having any queries by email, my Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn. So I'm very happy to help. And yeah, thank you, Sandeep, for inviting. And yeah, have a good Sunday, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye bye.